Welcome to the last and final day of the CyberTALENT Snowdown. The past 2 days were so exciting and fun to watch, and I can't wait for what today's art exhibition has in store for us. Today's show features a variety of ages and art mediums. Every participant will be sharing a little bit about themselves and their art journey, as well as showcasing a selection of art pieces that they believe will truly represent their motto and determination during the pandemic. Now, I must say that art is definitely my favorite stress-releasing activity, so let's go and see what these artists have for us.
Hi there, my name is Sujino Samina and I'm a senior at Jesuit High School. The piece I'm sharing with you today is a recent painting that I did using my favorite medium, which is oil paints, on canvas. And the subject of this painting is my friend's grandmother in Bangalore, India. And the reason I chose to paint this subject is because I think many times paintings about life in India often focus on younger women or beautiful women, but by painting an older woman, I wanted to add something a little bit different to the body of work on paintings on life in India. Generally, with my artwork, I like to use oil paints. I also like to draw using oil pastels and pencils on paper. I also really like to use watercolors. So thank you for viewing my work and for listening to a little bit about me and my artistic process. And thank you again to CyberBORN for giving me the opportunity to share my work with you all.
Hello, my name is Haissan Gil and I'm an amateur artist. I partake in multiple branches of art such as watercolor, colored pencils, and sketching. For me, art is something that I use to unwind after a hard day. While all of the pieces that I'll be showing are showpieces, that didn't make any of them any less enjoyable to create. The first piece is called Beyond the Limelight. It is a mainly colored pencil piece depicting a pair of ballet shoes and a dress. This second piece is called Homage, and it is made with watercolor and design paint. As shown in the previous piece, a lot of my art centers around shoes. I suppose that this is because of the character that a shoe has. It is able to show its owner's personality, whether they dance, enjoy sports, or even something as mundane as whether or not they scrub their soles or not. This third piece is called Muted, and it is a bit of an outlier. It does not contain any shoes. It is a watercolor painting that does not have a set color scheme. When I was coming up with the concept, I wanted to talk about identity on the internet. Technology can be a great thing, don't get me wrong, but I feel that online identities can only go so far as to show the real person. This piece is called On the Green, and it is a pencil and watercolor paint work. This just follows with the theme of shoes, and it is also an artwork for my little sister because she plays soccer. This last piece is an interesting piece called Walks of Words. It is a soft pastel piece drawn on a newspaper. Because of the characteristics of pastels, it is possible to see the words covered by the shoes. These shoes reflect the traveling of individuals and information. Thank you for watching, listening, and have a wonderful 2021.
Hi, my name is Vienna, and the art piece I'm showing today is a sculpture of a dragon sitting on top of a stack of books that is a mini library. And it's not my normal medium, but this was an art project that was assigned by my ceramics teacher, and it was to make something inspired by the verb to collect. So then I was thinking of like a book collection, and dragons like to hoard stuff, so it's a dragon hoarding a stack of books, or a library of books. Normally I don't use clay as my go-to medium, but I got into it in the fall when I first started my ceramics class. Usually I do art with a lot of pens, pencils, and paint. I like to draw designs, and I'm very inspired by nature, so this piece is actually a lot out of my normal comfort range, but I was really excited to make it. Anyways, this video is supposed to be 90 seconds, so there's about 30 more seconds of pictures left because I did not take a video of my sculpture before I turned it in. So yeah.
Hello, my name is Leah Gulick, and for this talent show I decided to submit this piece, which I don't really have a title for, but it is based off the song The Crane Wife 3 by the Decemberists. And this song is about a man and his wife, and the wife is represented by this like beautiful crane and this very regal and majestic bird. And this song is the third in a series, and it talks about how the crane eventually like leaves the man alone. So through this piece I wanted to kind of create maybe an atmosphere of loneliness or maybe regret as the crane flies away and leaves the man alone. And who knows, maybe I did that. But I also used a lot of different colors, like the bright yellow and the dark purple are ones that, as I was listening to the song while I was making this, they kind of like stood out to me as things I could incorporate into this scene. So that's what I tried to do. I'm fairly new to watercolor, so I don't have a ton of practice like using them. So I really focused on like just simple shapes and bold colors, and hopefully you can see that. Yeah, so that's what I decided to submit for this competition. I appreciate you listening to me go on about it.
Hi, I'm Clara LaBelle, and this is my submission for the CyberTALENT Showdown. This is a bunch of onions, if you can't tell, and I call it an abundance of onions. I made this piece because I was inspired by a Secret Santa gift that I got this year, which was an onion. And I wanted to have fun when I learned about this talent show, so I decided to paint 6 onions. The inspiration for this piece was the Andy Warhol style abstract pop art paintings, which with the bright colors and the boxes, I've always liked that style and I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to try it here with the fun subject such as an onion. And so I made this using like neons for the highlights and the background, and some metallics where the stem is and the end here to make things pop. And I also wanted to use complementary colors, so like the purple and yellow and the blue and orange to make things really stand out. I also added some small black lines with the micron pens to make it look a bit more like an onion, but you can't really tell this recording. I also, to make this, I made stencils for each part to make sure that they all were the same size and they all looked the same. So I just use masking tape to tape it down and just paint it over those holes. I also, I've never tried this type of painting before. I usually do graphic design, so the whole actual physical thing is kind of different for me. I've only made 2 paintings, not counting this, in the past like 2 years. And so I thought this would be easy enough, but it was pretty challenging. So yeah, this was different for me, and I like how it turned out. It could be better, but I enjoyed making this. I call it An Abundance of Onions by Clara. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Carter, and this is my submission for the CyberBORN 2020 or 2021 talent show. This piece was a piece that I made for my IB art class. I'm a junior, and the title is Streams. It's supposed to represent streams of thought and streams of consciousness. So the background is a more dark water to kind of signify, I guess, like the murkiness of the subconsciousness and how little we actually like get to experience of who we really are. And then the birds represent thoughts. A lot of like meditation apps and people that I've talked to have compared thoughts to like cars passing on a highway or something of the sort. So I thought that birds like flying through your mind is kind of similar. And then the rest of it is kind of just my interpretation of like the individual. So the fish would kind of be your like most inner self, like how you perceive yourself, and then the eyes would be how the world perceives you. And then yeah, that's basically it. So it's one of my favorite pieces that I've done. A lot of the pieces are really similar to this, where I do a lot of different elements and try to like form them together in a way that I think like signifies something or just has a vibe. I can't think of a better word, but yeah, so that's all. I hope you like it.
Hi, my name is Rapunzee, and I'm here to talk about my paintings. So, usually I paint portraits of women, and the overarching theme is like identity and self-confidence and kind of like power. And I usually paint in acrylic paint, but I also add embellishments and 3D texture depending on what the meaning of the painting is. So as an example, this painting is called Oblivious, and she's kind of drowning in her own thoughts. It's kind of tranquil, very peaceful. So I've added, I don't know if you can see, I've added fabric petals and painted over them, and I've also added hot glue dots and painted over them so that it's 3D so you can feel it. And I've added hot glue drips for water droplets. Here's another textured painting that I've made. This one's called Broken Image, and it's like a woman looking into her reflection and seeing fragmented realities. So here's like, she's decked out in this, but not in this. And to achieve the broken mirror effect, I put laminated paper. I cut it into pieces and put it on top of my painting. And another textured painting is this one. It's called Blooming. So I embroidered flowers onto this painting. So these are real like fabric flowers that I cut and then embroidered onto the painting. And it gives the effect of like growth. So she's like calm and peaceful, and there's like flowers growing out of her, and she's like glowing. So it's more about self-love and introspection. And then I have paintings that represent power and confidence. So here is a power painting. This woman is like calm and peaceful outwardly, but there's like her inner strength is like this tiger that's roaring. And another confidence piece is this one. I call it Eyes on Me. So there's all these like judgmental eyes. It's about like confidence in the face of judgment. So there's all these judging eyes around her, and she's unbothered. Yeah. And here's a painting that is more about identity than confidence. So deep under the water, she's like cultural, and it's more of her identity. And then on the outside, she's very plain. So these are some of my paintings. Oh, this one is called Intoxicated. I didn't add any outward texture. It's just meant to show, it's more of a study on water and expression. Yeah. And this painting is called Unleashed. This is more of a power painting, more of a confidence painting. So this woman is like splitting open to reveal like a goddess. So yeah, those are my paintings. I hope you enjoyed.
I knew we had some amazing artists in our community, but today our artists really went above and beyond to show us what they could do. It was so interesting listening to all their stories and relating my own experiences, looking back to this springtime and how quarantine affected my own life. I'm sure all of you have developed some very cool hobbies as well during lockdown, and as some of you are even showcasing them before us today. Well, we have seen the kind of talent these artists have, but how can we call it an art expedition if there is no way for all of us to practice our visual art skills?
Hi everyone, today we are going to be making a DIY origami snowflake. To start off, let's go over the materials we need for this project. First, some paper. It can be of any size, but don't use cardstock or anything too thick. You'll need some glue, preferably not a glue stick or super glue, a pencil, scissors, and a ruler that has centimeters on it. Step 1. Measure out a 9 by 9 centimeter square on your paper, and then cut it out. It should look like this. Step 2. Next, measure 2.5 centimeters from the left and 2.5 centimeters going in from the right and make marks like these two. Do the same on the bottom. Step 3. Using your ruler and scissors, score the paper to create a line between the top and bottom mark you did for both sides. Make sure not to press too hard, otherwise you'll cut your paper. The sharper the scissors, the lighter you need to press. And you should get a fold that looks just like this. And do that to both sides. Step 4. With the right fold on the bottom and the left fold on top, glue the pieces together with a thin line like so. Step 5. Now you're going to mark 5 millimeters from the left and 5 millimeters going in from the right, similarly to what you did in step 2. Do the same on the bottom. Step 6. Once again, using your ruler and scissors, score the paper to create a line between the top and bottom mark you did for both sides, just like what you did in step 3. You can press down a little harder if you need to since the paper is thicker from the folds, but please make sure you don't cut it. Step 7. There should be 3 fold lines visible at this point. Find the second one, the one in the middle, and work on pressing it in like so. When you look at it from the top, you should see a tiny triangle created inside. Make sure you do it to both sides, and in the end, it should look like this. Step 8. Now fold it in half, hamburger style. Step 9. Put a thin line of glue down the center and press the halves together like so. Step 10. Make a marking exactly at the halfway point of your paper. It should be around the 1.5 centimeter mark if you've done it right at this point. Now, make a mark 2 centimeters down from the top on both the left and right side of the paper. Step 11. Now connect the marks together to create a triangle without the bottom. Do not connect the bottom marks together. Step 12. Using your left and right marks, make a dot around a centimeter below them like so on both sides. Then, create equal triangles on both sides like the following. It should look like this. Step 13. Now, cut where all the lines are to get the first part of your snowflake. Be careful not to cut through, and make sure not to rip it if you pull the tiny triangles out towards the end. If it gets cut or rips, it'll ruin the design. In the end, the first part of the snowflake will look like this. Now, do steps 1 through 9 4 more times so that you have 4 rectangles like this. Step 14. To make it easier for you, just use the first snowflake part and trace it onto the 4 other rectangles to save some time. Step 15. Cut these out just like you did in step 13. And make sure to follow the same rules of trying not to cut through or rip the tiny triangles. Now it's time to put it together. With a thin line of glue down the center, piece together all the parts of the snowflake like this. Make sure to press down hard so that they won't fall apart. You'll see your snowflake start to come together as you glue more pieces down. Your final product should look like this super cute snowflake once you pull it all together. You can go ahead and glue the last part together to complete the snowflake. Make sure you really press down hard because you want this to not fall apart. This is the most important part of keeping your snowflake together. For an added bonus, you can glue it down to a card and give it to someone special. You can use hot glue if you need to make sure that it stays down, but be careful! I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial on the snowflake card. We will now have a 2-minute buffer period so that all of you can finish up your creations before we go on to our next activity.
Hello everyone, I'm Suhani from Sunset CyberBORN, and today I'm going to show you how to make paper hyacinth flowers, which you can put in a vase or jar for the CyberTALENT Snowdown. So these are the materials that you'll need: a pencil, a ruler, scissors, glue stick, and then I have a wooden skewer, but basically anything that can roll paper, and 2 different construction papers. So you can see I've already used this one. You can have that too, a used one. Just make sure that you have like enough for what we're gonna do. So the first paper we're gonna be using for our flowers, and I chose pink, so it's gonna be a pink flower. And this blue paper is gonna be for the stem and leaves. And I know that stem and leaves are usually green, but I've chosen to do blue because I just wanted to change it up a bit. But you guys can stick with green if you want to. So we have to first mark the paper approximately 8.5 inches by 2 inches because we're gonna have to cut out a strip that size. Over here, I'm gonna measure it over here, and I'm gonna put the very edge on 0 inches. And then I'm gonna measure this part, the horizontal part, 2 inches. So 2 inches right here, so I'm just gonna mark it. And then I have to do 8.5 inches. And that's gonna be vertical. So I'm just gonna turn the paper because it will be easier for me to measure exactly 8.5 inches. So I'm gonna put 8.5 inches, the mark, where it ends at 8.5 at the very start, so I can just mark the 0 inches up here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna draw a line from them. So you can see I've messed up a little over there, like the lines outside, but that doesn't matter because we're gonna be cutting this. Then I'm gonna draw a line from the 2 inches that we marked. Okay, so you can see that's a little wobbly, but again, we're gonna be cutting it out. So as long as you have that, it's good. So now that I've marked it, I'm gonna cut out the strips. So now once we've marked that, we're gonna mark 3 3/8 inches from both edges of the paper and use a pencil to lightly draw a line across the paper. So what I mean by that is so you find 3/8 inches, so that's right over here. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna come over here, either a side of the paper is fine, and then you're just gonna mark the 3/8 inches from here, horizontally and vertically too. So I'm gonna turn it, and then I'm just gonna find the 3/8 inch mark and then put it over here. And now you can see it stops right there. So I'm just gonna mark it. And by mark it, I mean draw the line and lightly. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the paper horizontally, which I have done over here, and mark some strips 1/4 inches wide. So what I mean by that is we're gonna put the line over there, and then we're gonna find 1/4 inches, which is right over here. Then we're gonna put the start of the paper on 0 inches and mark it every 1/4 inches. We're gonna carefully snip this paper into strips that are the 1/4 inches wide that we just marked, cutting up to this pencil line we cut earlier. And then you just continue cutting the 1/4 inch strips until you've made it across the entire strip of paper. Hopefully you try to keep your cuts as straight and parallel as possible, but don't panic if they aren't perfect because it won't really matter once you swirl them up, which we use the wooden skewer with. So now bring your wooden skewer or any thing that you use to roll it and carefully roll each strip, but you can see that there's a pencil line over here. So make sure the pencil line is on the back of the strip, so it's like this. And now you want to roll the strips. So now I'm gonna roll the length of the paper. So you just do it like that, so you can see I have like a little rolled strip. So you do that all along the side of the paper. Okay, so as you can see that I'm done with this, and it looks all rolled up and you can't see the pencil line because it's again on the back. So now what you're going to do is you're going to set this aside and grab your second paper because we're going to be making the stem. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mark the paper just like we did for the flower. And we're going to mark the paper 2 inches by 8 inches. And 2 inches is the vertical one. Now that I've marked it, I'm going to line it up and then cut it. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm gonna cut it. Okay, so I've cut it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start rolling one of the corners diagonally. So I'm just gonna roll it a little. And once you've gotten it started, add some glue to the paper and to help it keep it together so that, you know, you can have the vertical stem. So it should look something like this. Now what we're gonna do is bring the pink rolled up paper back, and we're gonna add this flower to the stem and then make the leaves. So grab this swirled up paper and add some glue to the back of the swirled up paper like this. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it over the thicker end of the stem with the swirls pointing up and towards the outside. So I'm gonna add it up. And now I'm gonna wrap it slowly but tightly. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make the leaves. So keep what we just did aside, and now we're gonna get the paper that we used for the stem again. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out a piece of paper about 2 inches by 3 inches. Doesn't matter which side. So now that we know where to put it, we're just gonna add the line. And now we're gonna cut it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it accordion style along the long edge in roughly 1/4 inches sections. I'm not gonna mark it, but because it's gonna be tiny, but basically you're gonna fold it. Okay. Now you can see it's like an accordion. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep it back to how it was. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out a leaf shape, leaving about a little over here. So I'm just gonna cut it out like this. And now you'll see that you'll end up with about 3 or 4 leaves depending on how many accordion style folds you did. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring back our flower and we're gonna add some glue to the bottom of the leaves. At an angle like this. And then wrap it tightly around the stem as you press down the glue to keep it in place. So like you can see that the glue is like a little coming off, so I'm just gonna do it again. And this will happen unless you like put some really strong glue on it. And there you have it, one paper hyacinth flower. Now we have beautiful paper flowers that you can use in any vase or holder that you can find in your homes. These flowers would also make beautiful decorations for a pop-up garden since they're small too. But they're not so small that you can't put it in a vase or holder again. So as you finish up, the last touches on your flowers are just like adjusting the leaves. Just a gentle reminder to share pictures, any pictures of any of your crafts if you're doing more than one, with the hashtag CyberTALENT Snowdown to be featured on our social media platforms. Have fun crafting!
Hi, my name is Amu Laverison, and this is my piece, Snakebite, which was created in the year 2020 and was made with ink pens, colored pencil, watercolor, brush marker, and graphite pencil. The size is 9 inches by 10 inches. Snakebite is about the importance of embracing pain as a part of life. In this piece, my hand caresses the snake biting me, and my blood feeds the river and therefore the forests around me. Pain paradoxically cultivates new growth and grounds my existence. As I found myself after painful experiences, I made Snakebite, which indicates an acceptance of loss and failure as necessary and constructive parts of life. I usually create two-dimensional pieces in an illustrative style using the same mediums I used in this piece, which, to reiterate, are micron pens, watercolor, colored pencil, art markers, and graphite pencil. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ria Valhall. I'm 10 years old. Today I'm going to be showing you my special art. I love making lip glosses and cosmetics, especially these. I have always dreamed of having my own business since I was small. I made this business in quarantine, and it worked. I really liked it and it was really fun doing it. Here's another one. This is a bakery that I started in quarantine. It was really fun starting and I loved making the poster boards. Believe it or not, when I was 7, 8, and 9, I made bracelets handmade for 1 hour and I sold them in my neighborhood. I even used to post videos on YouTube of how to make the bracelets. I was that dedicated. After those businesses, I came up with the most brilliant idea that has ever come to me. After 1 week of hard work and dedication, I was ready with my website. It was all done, all ready to be launched, all ready to be live. On the very last minute, I came up with adding scrunchies to my business. Here's a little inventory tour for you. Most of the money I earn will go to charity.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and for this talent show, I made a painting. So here it is. Okay, and my inspiration behind this painting was actually a photo I took when my mom and I went to a bakery. So we put all our pastries and put them on this tray, and I took a photo of that tray. And when I got home and looked at the picture, I thought it was really pretty, and I thought that it would be a good idea to make a painting of it. So the funny thing is I actually started painting this like almost half a year ago, a bit less than half a year ago. That is not even an exaggeration. I think I started this in like August, but I think I abandoned it for a few months and then only came back to it just recently. I think I finished it just last week. So this has definitely been with me for a long time. So I don't normally draw this sort of thing. I really like to draw like portraits and birds and objects. So not a lot of experience drawing food. So this was definitely a bit refreshing for me to make, and it was also a little bit of a challenge. So I also do work in a lot of different mediums. I know this one was acrylic paint on canvas, but I also do stuff in just with pencils, just doing a sketch, or with watercolors, or with oil paints. Lately I've been doing a lot of digital art, so I think working on this again, like having to do traditional art again, definitely like helped me remember that I like to do traditional art, because I think I got so used to digital art that I kind of neglected traditional art. So though I only started taking formal art classes when I was 9 years old, I've been doing art pretty much for my entire life. So art has definitely been a large part of who I am. And I do participate in a lot of art competitions, so that definitely helps me develop my skill. Thank you.
Ways of Talking by Hanjin. We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with losses, complaints, and sorrows. Even if there was no grief, we wouldn't stop lamenting as though longing for the charm of a distressed face. Then we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. Labor wasted, loves lost, houses gone, marriages broken, friends estranged, ambitions worn away by immediate needs. Words lined up in our throats for a good whining. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only immortal flow of life. After losing a land and then giving up a tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles begin to brighten our faces. We laugh a lot at our own mess. Things become beautiful, even hailstones in the strawberry fields. I Hear America Singing by Walt Whitman. I hear America singing, the varied carols I hear, those of mechanics, each one singing his as it should be, blithe and strong. The carpenter singing his as he measures his plank or beam, the mason singing his as he makes ready for work or leaves off work, the boatman singing what belongs to him and his boat, the deckhand singing on the steamboat deck, the shoemaker singing as he sits on his bench, the hatter singing as he stands, the woodcutter's song, the plowboy's on his way in the morning, or at noon intermission, or at sundown, the delicious singing of the mother or the young wife at work, or of the girls sewing or washing, each singing what belongs to him or her, and to none else. The day what belongs to the day. At night, the party of young fellows, robust, friendly, singing with open mouths their strong, melodious songs.
Two Gates by Denise Lau. I look through glass and see a young woman of 20, washing dishes, and the window turns into a painting. She is myself 30 years ago. She holds the same blue bowls and brass teapot I still own. I see her outline against lamplight. She knows only her side of the pane. Porch where I stand is empty. Sunlight fades. I hear water run in the sink as she lowers her head, blind to the future. She does not imagine I exist. I step forward for a better look, and she dissolves into lumber and paint. A gate I pass through to the next life loses shape. Once more, I stand squared into the present among maple trees and scissor-tailed birds in a garden, almost a mother to that faint, distant woman.
Hi there, my name is Samiksha, and today I will be sharing with you my art journey. As a kid, I started off by drawing stick figures and would never do anything else. As I got older, my drawing skills have developed, and now I have started to do better drawings and more usage of different art styles and art mediums. I have done many different things, such as pencil sketches, mandalas, watercolor paintings, oil pastel drawings, acrylic paintings, colored pencil sketches, and many, many more. My favorite things to draw are mandalas and pencil sketches. I like to draw mandalas because you can use any design in any shape and it will turn out perfect and very pretty. Another thing I like to draw are pencil sketches. I like to draw pencil sketches because you can draw a wide variety of things. Like you can draw a ball and just give it a shadow. Or you can draw like really, really big, amazing, realistic looking landscapes to amazing, gorgeous people. I get my inspiration from my mom because she gives me good ideas and is a very talented artist. Thank you.
Once again, we would like to thank our entire event award sponsor, Prashanti Fashions. If any of you have any jewelry needs, make sure to check them out.
On behalf of all the CyberBORN team, we would like to thank each and every one of the performers who have stepped up and taken the lead in the past 3 days. It can be hard to keep at something, especially when we are stuck at home, but the passion and dedication that these individuals have exhibited is incredible.
Along with every performer, there were many volunteers who have worked tirelessly to make this show work, all the way from poster creation to recruiting performers and creating last-minute thumbnails for the YouTube video. Our youth volunteers have really shown their leadership abilities not only in this event, but throughout our youth-led initiatives over the past year.
Last but not least, we want to take these last few minutes to celebrate all of you. There is so much talent and passion out there in our community, and the support that you all as an audience and generous donors have given us is something that we are all very grateful for.
If you want to participate in our future initiatives or want to join our team, go ahead to cyberbornportland.org/contact-us for future inquiries. Whether you are passionate about poverty advocacy, graphic design, public outreach, mental health, or even blog writing, CyberBORN has a place for you.
And thank you to everyone. All the proceeds raised from this show we'll be going to a computer lab and STEAM kit distribution projects to help elementary school kids pursue their education. All links for further information can be found in the description box below. Getting back to the show, today's voting will close at 11:59 PST for our art competition candidates. Winners will be announced in a YouTube video releasing at 2 p.m. PST tomorrow, Tuesday, January 19th, and celebrated on our Instagram and Facebook channels. The 2021 CyberTALENT Snowdown is now adjourned. We wish you all a very prosperous new year.